Hello, and everyone, welcome to the show this week. Today on Crypto Friday Chat, we have something unique. We have a new era of social media for you. And here to tell you more about it is Jay, the CMO and co-founder of Uhive. My name is Terrence Duncan. This is LATOKEN. Let's dive straight into it. Jay, do us a favor. For those who don't know who you are, quickly introduce yourself and give us a little bit of that background.
Absolutely. Hi, Terrence. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet the token audience as well, albeit virtually. My name is Jay. I'm the co-founder and CMO of Uhive, which is a new disruptive social network that was launched out of the UK, London, Hammersmith. About 2 years ago, we started building the application, and we launched in beta in May 2020. It was a pretty weird time to launch a social network. Everything was pretty weird in 2020, but it was actually a good time for us because it meant there was a lot of individuals spending time behind a screen due to the circumstances that everybody was operating under. And that actually gave us a good boost when we launched, and we got traction very quickly, and we did very well to acquire the users that we have at the moment. So we have about 330 registered users and just over 100,000 active monthly users. We have 8 million posts as well on the social network, which is absolutely phenomenal, amazing traction. Which brings me into what we're going to talk about today, which is going to be the value of the creator economy that we support. The value of NFTs on Uhive, which is a very hot topic right now, which everybody's talking about. Also decentralized content moderation as well, which is a very, very hot topic and is central to the way that Uhive operates. So these are topics that we're going to cover today, and they're major pillars of Uhive. And luckily for us, they are pretty much what everybody's talking about this current time, from 2020 until our current time. These have been very, very hot topics. NFTs have been a very hot topic over the last 2 to 3 months. So we're very proud to actually have NFTs as a component in Uhive, and hopefully something that I can share with your audience today and introduce everybody to as we talk about Uhive in general. Uhive is a social network that gives power back. Our unofficial motto is we give power back to the users. So, our tagline across any sort of publication that we are featured on, we sort of say we're a social network for users, not corporate bottom lines, which is exactly what we mean to be. But in sort of layman's terms, we don't serve our own self-interests through Uhive. Ad revenue is not a major revenue stream for us. So we're not about auctioning off users' data to the highest bidder, for ad impressions. We are about returning value to our users. And that's one of the reasons why we launched the Uhive token when we in sync with the app. Basically, we are a social network first, but we're a cryptocurrency project very close second. And we're very, very proud to be launching on the 23rd our Uhive token, HVE2, with LATOKEN. I believe we just mentioned it was 11 a.m. UTC, the time that we're going to launch the token, which is going to be a huge time for us. It's basically what we've been working towards for the past 2 years and 3 months is this token launch, because it basically the social network is going to come full circle as soon as we launch this crypto token, our HVE2. Because basically everything we've been doing up until this moment has been about returning value to the user, creating a circular economy, but there's also a creator content economy. And that's going to come full circle when users can actually trade their Uhive tokens for fiat currencies or for other currencies on LATOKEN. We are in a couple of exchanges, but we're very excited to be with LATOKEN, because I think that the support that we've got from the token has been, exceptional. It's pretty hard to match with any partner that we've ever partnered up with. So we're very excited about being on LATOKEN. And so come the 23rd, our users will be able to convert their Uhive tokens, their HVE2s. They will be able to purchase more as well. So we've had in-app purchases for the last 12 months throughout Uhive, the Uhive application, whether it's been Android or iOS. I got to mention that absolutely we are on the iOS, so we are on the App Store for iOS, and we are on the Play Store for Android. So we've been selling tokens through the app passively. We've basically not done any campaigning for token sales. We've just reached out to our existing audience. We've managed to sell well over £500,000, over $750,000 worth of tokens. So we've got about 1 billion tokens in circulation already. Those are purchased from through the app. They were purchased through Google Play and the App Store payments, and also through PayPal. So we basically already know that the model works. We know that there's huge demand for our crypto token. We know that there's a huge demand for the social network, in that we have as many registered users and active users as we do. We know people are enjoying the network. We have deployed, maybe over 60 updates, 70 updates since we've launched, because we're still in beta, but we've listened to our community. So by the way, we have a fantastic community on Telegram as well, which I'm not sure if we can share the link at some point, but we'll try to. We have just under 7,000 members on our Uhive Telegram group, and that group has been phenomenal in terms of giving us feedback about the app. We fine-tuned a lot on the application based on what those users have asked us to do. So, when we say we are an app, a social network for the people, we're not just talking about monetary returns and value. We do listen. We're all very accessible. Myself and Mo, the primary founder, we're on Telegram. We are extremely accessible. People can message us whenever they want. We never make our emails or our Telegram handles a secret. If anybody has any suggestions about the app, everybody's suggestion is equally weighted. It doesn't matter where you are. You could be a VC or an angel investor. You could be a Silicon Valley entrepreneur, or you could just be a user in anywhere in the world. We're going to listen to you with equally. And we've done a lot of that throughout the development of Uhive, and that's why Uhive has really been honed in the vision of our users, not just our vision. The Uhive team, which again falls under everything that we're trying to do here, and give the power back to the users. One of the things that we are launching imminently in a few weeks, a couple of weeks, is decentralized moderation. Now, if we can talk about this until the cows come home, but obviously we have limited time. But in a nutshell, basically what we're doing is we're allowing users to moderate and control the content and the content's visibility on Uhive through decentralized moderation, or DEMO as we call it in-house. And what that's going to entail is basically we are going to select, to begin with, a bunch of users, a large number of users, enough to make a difference. We don't have an exact figure yet of how many we're going to actually pick for the first level of moderation, but they are all from our user base, and they're going to be picked based on their social scale. Social scale is IP that belongs to Uhive, and it's basically like a credit score or a trust score that you would find in the real world. So if a user goes to apply for a loan or car financing, banks are going to look at their credit scores. They're going to decide if this is the kind of person that they can trust with a loan. So we basically have the same thing on Uhive. The social scale, however, is developed by other users. So other users are in control of each other's social scales. If there is a space and a user that creates great content, phenomenal content, and users like the content a lot, comment on the content, share it very often, has minimal number of reports, if not any reports on their content, then that person gets a high social scale. So we're going to start off with individuals that have high social scales, that have been with us since the beginning. So they're early adopters. They've been on the social network since the very beginning, and they're going to be chosen to moderate content in that they can flag it, they can tag it for us, for our admin, and then we can sort of follow their lead and look at this content and decide what to do with it. Now, we're never going to delete a space. We're never going to delete content. The only time we will delete content is if it contravenes our guidelines. So no bullying, no harassment, no adult content, no sexual content, no spamming, no trolling, that sort of stuff. That kind of content, and we have a fantastic AI engine that automatically removes that content. And we have our in-house moderators that automatically remove that content. But any content that sort of toes the line, it doesn't contravene our guidelines, it's controversial, maybe it's anti-vaxxers. So it's content that sort of talks about the COVID-19 vaccine. This isn't real. It's a conspiracy theory. That type of content, it's not our place to remove that type of content. Everybody deserves to have a voice on Uhive. We are proponents of free speech. However, we appreciate that a lot of individuals do not want to see that type of content and they don't want to engage with that type of content. So it's going to be our community moderation that will decide whether that content is visible or invisible on the network, in that if you don't search for that content, if you don't follow that space, you're not going to see it. If there's content that's sort of, right wing or left wing, again, if you don't want to engage with that type of content, you're not going to see that type of content. But we're not going to delete it. We're not going to remove those users from the network because they deserve a voice. Everybody does, whether you agree with what they say or what they don't. What we're going to do is we're going to use decentralized moderation, our user moderation, to make the platform not necessarily a friendlier place, but a more palatable place for most users. So you're not going to see any of that content if you don't actively seek it out, which is, I think, what we're really looking for. It's very Wikipedia-esque in the style. So, I'm not saying Wikipedia is the be-all and end-all when it comes to trust, but I think we can all agree that it's one of the best models that we currently have online in terms of getting factual information. It's not perfect, and we don't know if there's ever going to be a perfect model, but Wikipedia are doing it, I think, as best as it can be done at this moment. So we are actually following suit, and we are doing the moderation in a very similar way to Wikipedia, in that it's the users, it's the community that are going to vet the content. They're going to decide what is right.
And Jay, the numbers suggest that you are off to a good start. I mean, the adoption and the people buying into it, it really seems phenomenal. And for those of you who are viewing the show live or recorded down the line, remember there's a few websites that you can check out to get involved directly. One is uhive.com. That's directly onto the space. Look at the content, expose yourself to the app, get involved, get your own space,
Terence,
and that's how we put it. And of course, the other is on LATOKEN on the 23rd. So look for the launch, look for the token, learn more about it. But I think you brought this up earlier as well. Let's break it down a little. When we talk about social media, I think what's interesting about Uhive is the spaces. Can you sort of break that for us and for the viewers out there? Let's talk about that spaces a bit, and what can those of you who download the app, what can you expect?
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant question. We love our spaces. We do sort of visualize Uhive as a universe. It's one of the things we did from day one, because we wanted to go beyond the network. How do you go beyond the network? You go outside of the tangible world, and you go out to space. You go out to the universe. It's infinite, and that's really where we saw Uhive going. We saw it going in infinite directions. And spaces was a big part of that. Basically, a space acts as a user's profile. So a user can have a personal profile, they can have a personal space if they so wish, and that's all they're going to do. That's all they're going to have on the network. They want to have a personal space. They want to share their day-to-day life. They want to show off their lifestyle. They want to just have a space where their friends and family can connect with them and engage. Then there are other users that want to go far beyond a personal space, and they might be influencers, whether they're nano, micro, or major social media influencers, or they can just be individuals like you or myself who just want to share something that we're very passionate about. So Uhive is interest-based social media, which is very, very, very important, and it plays into our business model sort of extensively. Basically, we have 26 interests. We say that personal interest is the unofficial 27th interest, but we have 26 interests that range from automotive to beauty and makeup, fashion, religion, politics, history, astronomy. Basically anything that you could be passionate about will fit comfortably into one of our 26 interests. So you can create spaces in any of these 26 interests, and those spaces can be where you just let loose. You talk about your passions, you talk about your hobbies. You can upload tutorials or videos. You're a mechanic. You want to do a tutorial on how to change out a carburetor. You can post that video on the automotive space, and you sort of, you've already just achieved the first step in that your community and your audience around that space are already there because they're interested in the topic. So if you're posting in automotive, you know that anybody in the automotive space already has an interest and they want to be there. They want to see your content. So that's a great step forward in terms of getting visibility for your content. You're not just out there in an ocean of different subjects and different types of content as you would get with Instagram or Facebook. I know Facebook has its pages, but they're not very personal Facebook pages. They're great for businesses, but they're not great for individuals. A space in the automotive interest on Uhive is fantastic for everybody, whether you're a business or whether you're an individual person on a very personal level. Also, the spaces play into our NFTs, which is what we are very excited to launch.
Let's talk about that a little. Let's first describe NFT to those who are still picking up on what NFT is. I think we've heard Elon Musk talk about it. We've heard Jack Dorsey talk about it with curating their tweets and such. Yeah, so let's talk about NFT first and how you can actually convert your space into an NFT. Let's discuss that.
This is brilliant. This is so exciting for us. Basically, an NFT is a non-fungible token, which it is it's almost like a creative license that is minted on the blockchain. It's one of a kind. It gives you the ownership of whatever content is connected to that NFT, whether it's a JPEG image, it's a music single, it's a photograph of a painting. We've had NFTs being sold that are simply photographs of content, which is nuts, but it's people are excited about it. People are getting on board with it. So, we're happy, whatever type of content it is. But basically it's when you create a unique token on the blockchain that is intrinsically connected to a piece of content, digital content in all cases. So we've had, I think everybody's familiar with football cards and basketball cards. So if you collect a football card or a basketball card, you know that some of those cards are more valuable than others. And you know that there's an aftermarket for those collectibles. And you can sell them on eBay, you can sell them on forums and clubs that are dedicated to trading these football or baseball cards. And obviously some of those cards are worth more than others. So one of the most popular NFTs at the minute are something that was the NBA, the National Basketball Association, released, and those are NBA moments. They're basically video captures of a particular NBA player in a particular moment. And those have been sold for tens of thousands of dollars. Those are they're all digital, so they're not exactly tangible, but they are, at least those are unique. Those moments are very, very unique. It's hard to duplicate and replicate them. There was an instance of an image that was auctioned off recently by an artist called Beeples. And that image was basically, I think, 5,000 images taken over 5,000 days by this artist. And that NFT sold for $69 million. The thing about the NFT is it's a JPEG. So it can be shared, it can be duplicated, it can be basically sent out there into the World Wide Web, and anybody can have a picture of that NFT. What's unique about it is owning the NFT token. We go a step further than that on Uhive. We're about something more substantial than a JPEG or just a song. We are about spaces, which we liken to virtual real estate. So in much like in the real world, where real estate it's very It very closely resembles an NFT in that there's only one piece of land on that particular block or that street. You can't duplicate that land, you can't replicate it, and it's there to stay. Basically it's permanent. And if you look at countries and their CBDs, the central business districts, value sort of emanates from the CBD in cities, whether it be London, New York, Delhi, so on and so forth. We've done that with the Uhive universe. We've created a central location in each interest. So if you go to religion or news and politics right now, when you enter that interest, you automatically go to the center space. At the moment, right in the center is the Uhive space. It's where we share our news and our updates. But as you move outside of that space, you have multiple spaces, thousands of spaces. These can be purchased by users. So when they purchase a space, they obviously fill it with content within that interest. But that space has a fixed location. It's there to stay. It's permanent. They can create an NFT for that space, so we will mint the token for them on the Ethereum blockchain. And then they will have a unique token that is connected to that space. Not only is it connected to the space virtual location, you connect it to the content within the space. It's connected to the number of followers that the space has. It's connected to the space's social scale. So it's basically like owning a property or owning a business when you mint an NFT for your space. And you can then sell that later to anybody else. And all you need to do to create that set, to fulfill that transaction rather, is you have to send your NFT token to a new user's wallet. When you have created the transaction and you've agreed on your sale price or whatever, you send that NFT token to another user's, the new owner's ERC20 compatible wallet. And then when they deposit that NFT token back onto Uhive through their account into their Uhive wallet, they own that space. Suddenly they have access to all the content on that space. They own the space location, they own the space social scale, and they own the space's followers. This is an amazing concept. It's never been done before in social media. Let's take, for instance, let me give you some examples of how this could work and how users can monetize their spaces in this way. Let's say somebody creates an interest in our sports interest. They create a space in our sports interest. And, they create phenomenal content. They're talking about athletics. They're talking about sports brands. They're talking about sporting heroes. And they create amazing content and they get hundreds of thousands of followers on that space. If Nike comes along and wants to purchase that space, wants to own that NFT, wants to own that community, that audience, they can do so by contacting the space owner and arranging for that transaction to take place, which will all take place through Uhive as well. It will be controlled by Uhive, the transaction. So we obviously will hold payments in escrow and make sure that both parties are satisfied before we release funds and before we release the NFT. That NFT will then go to Nike. They will deposit it into their Nike space on Uhive, and then they will own that space and they will have access to that community. They can start posting their content. They can leave the original content creator to keep fulfilling that space and that content, but then they will have access to all those users in that community. They can post Nike content from time to time when they want to. It's basically where the world, where the internet is going in this direction of content creators are becoming the new rock stars. They're becoming the new celebrities, and brands, they want in on that more than anything else. This is probably one of the best ways that brands are going to be able to do that. Buying a space, having access to these tribes, these communities on Uhive. This is what it's all about moving forward. It's a peer-to-peer economy, and that's the direction that we're going. And these brands and these big corporations, they have to get on board with that. Uhive is the perfect platform to do that.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the token now. So the token could virtually act as a new currency for this social network. Tell us more about the token and what we can use the token for. Where do we get the tokens at the moment? And hey, what's that token going to be worth, you think?
Oh yeah, that's the $1 million question. Okay, well, I mean, we're our ERC20 token is called HVE2. So it's our Uhive version 2 token. It's a utility token, and when we say utility, we mean utility. There is so much you can do with that token on the Uhive social network itself. And that's where the token is going to derive its value from, Terence. So, I mean, what I want to make very clear to the audience listening today is that, you know, when you own a token or when you create a space and you have a presence and you have an account on Uhive, you are part of the same economy. You are all interconnected and you're so important to one another. Our token will derive all of its value from the strength of Uhive and the community. Any achievement that Uhive makes, we are hoping is going to be directly reflected in the token price. It's going to go up. With the tokens right now, what you can do is a lot, actually. You can purchase spaces. So everybody who creates an account on Uhive, they get 5 free spaces. But beyond that, you can purchase spaces. So if you want to invest in virtual real estate, you're going to buy those tokens and you're going to buy up spaces. You can buy up spaces around a very popular influencer space, of which we have many. You could buy a space around the CBD, around the center of an interests universe. Most of them, to be honest, have sold out. So most of those real central spaces have been sold. We've sold 77,000 spaces in Uhive so far. And a lot of those central spaces in the very popular interests have been sold. So, you know, you can start negotiating with space owners if you really want a central space, or you can start buying, you know, around that. Also, you know, we don't want to focus solely on the CBD. There are going to be clusters outside of the CBD, outside of our central business district on Uhive, where obviously popular influencers, brands can go and they can create their own cluster of real estate, valuable real estate. So that's one of the things you can do with your token. Also, you can purchase space names. So we all remember, well, not we all, but some of us remember the .com boom in the late 90s, the early 20s. And a big part of that was domain registration. And basically, those that got on board early and purchased a lot of these major, you know, very, very, very influential domain names, love.com or, you know, register your car or carinsurance.com, they were smart, they were savvy. They both bought those domains. And then when big insurance companies like Geico or Match.com came along, they purchased those domains from those individuals and some of them for millions and millions of dollars. So what we've done is actually we've taken that idea and we've implemented it in Uhive, and you can purchase space names, so you can purchase profile names. So we have a lot of individuals who've registered thousands and thousands of profile names. You know, everybody wants to be the only J on Instagram. Everybody wants to be the only Katie Smith. You know, but when you come along and when Katie comes along and tries to register that name, it's gone. She can't possibly do that. She ends up being Katie #_Smith123, and it's messy. If users want to get on board early with Uhive and register their names and their space names, they can purchase tokens. They can purchase additional names for their profile. They can hold on to them and sell them at a later date. They can use them themselves because, you know, again, it's their real name, and it's great to have your name to be the only person with that name on a social network. So, you know, that's been extreme. That's been well received by our users. You know, so we've got spaces you can purchase, profile names you can purchase. We've got awards, which are so much fun. So, you know, much like other social networks have done, you know, we can talk about Reddit as an example. If you really enjoy a piece of content, if you enjoy a space and there's some content on that space that's been created, you can use your Uhive tokens to buy little awards for that space. So it just sort of, you know, allows you to connect a little bit with that content creator. It's taking the likes and the dislikes to another level. Although right now you can't purchase any awards that sort of have the dislike emotion behind it. They're only positive awards. So, you know, stuff like, you know, I want to hug you. This is the cutest thing I've ever seen. This is hilarious. This post is hilarious. You know, yummy. This post about this dish is delicious. You purchase those awards and you send them to the content creator, which is great fun, and it just allows for this extra level of connection. You can choose for the content creator to know your name, to be able to connect with you as well, or you can send a space anonymously. Also, you can purchase tokens that will improve the visibility of content, which is a huge, huge, huge thing. We know we can't stress this enough. It comes into play when we're talking about decentralized moderation to some extent, in that if you really love a piece of content and you want that content to be more visible, you can purchase a visibility token, and basically it boosts that post visibility. So that's the awards are. You can have so much fun with those awards. It's absolutely fantastic. Very, 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 very soon we will be introducing paywalls as well to our spaces. So basically, you're going to be able to pay with Uhive tokens to access content. Now, this is going to be a game changer for us. We sometimes when we discuss this, people go like, "Oh, like OnlyFans." Well, no, we're not going to be like OnlyFans because we won't allow any adult content. But interestingly, the biggest growth that OnlyFans is experiencing now is with non-adult related content. So they're trying to promote OnlyFans as a platform for content creators to earn money from their content. So that could be musicians, that could be poets, that could be authors. The only problem with OnlyFans is if you think of OnlyFans, you think of adult content. It's going to be very, very, very hard for them to shake off that image and to bring these content creators that are musicians, that are authors, that are poets. So Uhive we're going to try and capture that sort of that essence, that notion that you can create non-adult related content and earn money for it behind a paywall. So for example, if there's a mechanic, like I mentioned earlier, who wants to do a tutorial on how to fix something on a car or change a carburetor, he can have his mechanic space in the auto interest, or she even, and they can then paywall that content, and you could subscribe with your Uhive tokens to that content, and you can get daily, weekly, monthly access to the content. It depends on the content creator. You can view their tutorials. The great thing about the Uhive token, Terence, and why this is extremely important, and why we are different from other platforms that are doing this, is that users can pay with Uhive tokens. They can create micropayments. So if you're a content creator, on other platforms that have paywalls, they have traditional payment gateways. So their credit cards, their PayPal. There's a minimum payment that you have to make that viable. Once you take away the fees and you take away the processing costs for that transaction, there's not much to play with. Whereas if you're a content creator on Uhive, you can start as small as you want. You can create a paywalled content, and you can charge 10 cents if you want for access to that content. You can charge 25 cents. There are no transaction fees. Uhive takes a very, very small percentage, 10% of the fee from the transaction. The content creator takes 90% of that fee. So you can basically paywall your content for anything that you like. 5 cents, 25 cents, $0.50, $1, $5, $10, whatever you want. But because we're paying in cryptocurrency and you have tokens, that spectrum is huge. You can pay $1,000 a month, or you can pay 5 cents a month if you want. So content creators can start small and they can build up from there. So if they're not very confident about their content, if they're not sure how popular it's going to be, but they want a lot of people to subscribe, they can start subscriptions at 25 cents. Those subscribers will pay with your Uhive tokens. You'll have access to that content for 25 cents a month. And then it's up to the content creator. They can either acquire more and more subscribers, so it becomes more worthwhile financially, or they can raise their subscription fee to whatever they want and stick with a lower number of subscribers. The beauty of cryptocurrency is it gives the content creator the ability to create their own business model. They're not controlled by us. They're not controlled by MasterCard or Visa or PayPal. So that's very, very important, and that's a big thing, when it comes to Uhive token usages. Also, moving forward, we're going to have a lot of digital assets in the marketplace on Uhive, where everything will be transactable through Uhive tokens. So we've already had some users. I've forgotten the name of the space, but there was one user who they were an artist, and they were offering to create profile images for other users for about 200, 300 Uhive tokens, which at the time was the value of about $1. And they had a bunch of people contacting that person, and I really want my profile image to be designed. And because this is the thing that people care about. They care about things like their handles, their username. They care about their profile image. They want to be, more visible. They want to be cooler when it comes to their presence on a social network. So this person was selling their graphic design skills, basically. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a marketplace where all of that can be sort of, not controlled, so to speak, but just organized. So you're going to have, very much like eBay, you're going to have different categories where people are going to offer different products and services, and that all those transactions will be powered by Uhive tokens. So basically, the sky's the limit when it comes to the token.
Yeah. And for those of you who are just joining in now, we are speaking to Jay from Uhive. Now, just to sum up what you've missed, you can easily go back and watch the show again. Now, Uhive is going to be a new social media platform. It's the new era. You can do a lot on it. You can create your own spaces. You can transform that into an NFT. You can start even earning rewards there, and even earn from your space itself. So there's many things that you can do. I want you to explore. Go to uhive.com, come to LATOKEN.com. You can get the tokens, trade the tokens, and earn from it as well. Now, Jay, just going back into Uhive and its platform, now I saw something interesting there. I saw a 4-hour challenge and even something called an Oasis. Challenge. Can you tell us more about that? Because I don't think lots of people know.
No, this was actually, we basically wanted to sort of get on board with the whole sort of, the virality behind challenges. So what we're going to launch, it's interesting that you found it, because it was basically something that we were going to launch in sync with the exchange launch as well for our token. But we've actually pushed it forward because we decided that we need to focus 100% on the exchange launch for the current few weeks. So again, I noticed a lot of people asking on the questions at the bottom of the screen. The exchange launch is going to be on the 23rd of March on LATOKEN and 11 a.m. UTC. So for all those individuals that are asking when it's going to be. So the 4-hour challenge is basically our own way to create a viral challenge element within Uhive. And it's basically every 4 hours, users have the opportunity within this 4-hour window to upload the silliest, the craziest, the funniest thing they could possibly think of in terms of content. So it could be an image or it could be a video, but obviously the most successful content is going to be video content. It has to be real. It has to be in real time. It has to be done within that 4-hour window. And at the end of that 4 hours, our users will get to vote on the best content. And then after that 4 hours, it's the 4 hours is then reversed. We go back to hour 1 and we start again. So every 4 hours, there's a new challenge. At the end of a set period of time, so if it's 16 hours later, we were going to choose a winner. So every 4 hours, there's new viral content that is uploaded. The Uhive community votes on the best one. So we have a winner for the first 4 hours. We have a winner for the second 4 hours, the third and the fourth winner. And then at the end of the 16 hours, all those 4 winners are then put together, and the community gets to vote again on who had the best content, basically. So it was a work in progress. It was under development, but it was a fantastic idea. What we wanted to do was add a time. An essence of time to the whole challenge. There isn't usually that element in any sort of challenge. If you go back to the ice bucket challenge, if you go to the bottle cap challenge, it was basically, it went on and on and on until it had sort of run out of steam. So what we want to do is we want to create this 4-hour window where people just go nuts to create content within that 4 hours and get voted and win that particular 4-hour challenge. So it's definitely something that we're going to do in the very near future. And of course, we will be announcing it through our social medias and through our Telegram group and through on Uhive itself. And obviously, anytime we can sort of engage with the LATOKEN community, we're going to let them know exactly what we're doing and what Uhive is doing. But that's basically what the 4-hour challenge was all about. And we are going to do it. It is going to happen. We're going to do it hopefully at some point this year by the summertime. Hopefully the the pandemic and the restrictions will have eased up by then, and people can start going out again and doing videos and creating content out in public. And we hope to see a lot of that in the 4-hour challenge. We hope that things do ease up for everybody as well, because part of social media is going out there and engaging with others, and there's not been a lot of opportunity for that this past 12 months. So we want to be there to support people when they go out and and they start engaging with one another again and creating content and sharing it on Uhive and monetizing content. But in the meantime, it's a great opportunity to create content that's very personal to yourself as well. So if you're stuck indoors, you're stuck in whatever 4 walls you are, you can create content very personal to yourself. Writers, all the writers out there, all the authors out there, come to Uhive, release chapters every month on your space, paywall your space, become a paid writer basically if you want to on Uhive. If you're a poet, come and release your content on Uhive, get people to comment on it and give you feedback. We have some fantastic musicians that have already come to Uhive to launch their content. I'll give a shout out to my good friend Darren Claxton. He's a British musician on Uhive. He actually grew up in the same city as I did, and so he got in touch with Uhive, and that's coincidentally, by the way. When he got in touch with us, that's when we started talking, and when I found out he grew up very, very close to where I grew up. And he's a fantastic musician, indie musician. He had all his content on Spotify. Basically, he wanted to find a platform to release his videos, his music videos on. So he got in touch with Uhive, and he sort of started this one-to-one conversation, which again goes back to what I was saying earlier about myself and all of the Uhive team. We're very, very accessible. So he actually ended up speaking directly to myself, and he was like, I want a platform to launch my music. I want to be able to monetize it in the future, but I want to start right from the beginning, strong. He wanted to start strong. He didn't want to struggle through this sort of smog that you find on YouTube, where if you're an artist, you're extremely hard to be discovered on YouTube at this point. It's nigh on impossible. It's such, it's great for artists that have made it on YouTube, and it's a great way for them to make money. But for new and upcoming artists, it's basically a dead end. So he was like, I don't want to go to YouTube. I want to come to Uhive because I want to get noticed. I want to have a stronger presence on Uhive than a very weak presence on YouTube. And so he was like, part of that was he wanted a verification badge. We did our due diligence. We checked out his Spotify. We listened to his music. We saw some of the content that he wanted to promote on Uhive, and we were happy to give him that space, give him the verification badge, and also help promote his business as well, and his music that he wanted to turn into a business through push notifications, through email newsletters. We have a massive subscriber base for our newsletter. And so he came on and he started releasing his singles and his music videos on Uhive. And we have more and more artists that are doing that. We're speaking to a very, very big British underground artist right now. Hopefully when that's all finalized, we'll start revealing the names and who we're talking to and who's coming up on the platform. But this guy is huge. He's really big. He's working on a massive Bollywood movie right now. He's doing the soundtrack for it. His music is definitely what you would call very cutting edge. And we're talking to him about releasing his music, his next album on Uhive, and also minting NFTs for his album and for his singles as well, so that you can exclusively own some of the very first singles off his new album. Never happened before. That just never happens. And we're actually going to make that happen. So it's a very exciting time for Uhive. And, let me just say, I'm not sure how much time we have left, but one of the most important things that we did, which I definitely want to get across to all of the viewers and the listeners today, is that we created a rock solid social network before we launched our token. So everybody that's been with us from the beginning, that sort of, watched our growth from 2018, from our early access app to our beta app in 2020 to where we're at now, They have been, for the most part, great supporters of our plan to launch the token after we had a rock solid social network. So we've worked out, I mean, I mentioned earlier on how many updates and iterations the app has gone through to get to the point where it's at now, which is phenomenally stable. We've got 8 million posts. So when people join Uhive now, they see content immediately. There is a little bit of a learning curve for the AI system, and we're working on that all the time. So let me just say as well to everybody who's going to upload Uhive for the time, give it for the first time. Give it a bit of time. Select your interests, start following spaces that you like. Within a day or two, the AI will sort of pick up on your interests, and it will start suggesting content to you. The spaces that you follow, you'll start seeing more of that content. It's all chronological as well, so it's based on time. So the content is that you see is basically the newest content. We don't use algorithms. We use AI. We are interest-based, so we're not intrusive. We're not invasive. Your privacy is absolutely yours to fully own. We don't do anything with your data whatsoever. So download the app, start using it, start engaging with it, and within 24 hours you will start seeing amazing content. You will see amazing content straight away, but you will see more and more and more and more amazing content the more you use it. This is very important for us. We wanted the network to be rock solid before we start trading our token. We could have started trading the token, in 2018. We could have done a pseudo ICO, and we could have, sort of got users on board then and started promoting the sale of our token. We didn't want to do that because there's no real value there. By doing what we've done and waiting 2 years to start trading our token, we've basically, when anybody who acquires a Uhive token now, there's real value behind that token and that ownership. You own a piece of the Uhive social network. You own a piece of those 8 million posts. The Uhive token is intrinsic to the Uhive platform. They are basically one and the same. So that's definitely a point I really want to drill home to everybody, is that we believe we've done this the right way. We've waited to launch our token on exchanges. We have a rock solid social network. We have 8 million posts. We have 333 registered users and over 100,000 active users. And we actually experienced our all-time high last weekend. We had 10,000 downloads in a single day. And that's basically the direction that we're going in from now. We stress tested everything, but we're still surprised from time to time. And we were, we were busy last weekend, making sure that we could handle the 10,000 new downloads per day. And we're only hoping that we can go a lot higher from that as well. Definitely with our partnership with LATOKEN, that's for sure.
Right. And Jay, I think that's a good way to kind of sum things up as well. And it's also a great way to really get yourself introduced to cryptocurrencies, learn about
Absolutely.
NFTs, and essentially just earn your own rewards, create your own spaces, and get into the community itself. Now, for those of you who are viewing today, uhive.com, that's the place to go. LATOKEN.com, that's the place to go on the 23rd as well. Do get in touch. Do join us. And I think, Jay, to kind of sum things off, let's just summarize a little bit about the pillars of Uhive and what users can expect with Uhive in the coming weeks, in the coming months, and where should they be putting their attention on?
Absolutely. I mean, definitely in the coming weeks, we have got more token utilization. So we're going to have the paywalls coming very, very, very soon. We're going to have the decentralized moderation coming in a matter of weeks. I think it's about 2 weeks away. It's going to be in the next update within 2 weeks. So, definitely this shift away from the Big Brother type social network and censorship, we've already shifted away from that. But it's going to move even more so further away from that as well in the next few weeks. Definitely with the exchange, we are going to see some exciting times with Uhive token. And very important, the point that you mentioned as well about introducing crypto to a brand new audience. Crypto adoption around the globe is pretty low right now, despite all the massive attempts at making it mainstream. Facebook announcing Libra in 2019, Elon Musk tweeting about NFTs and Dogecoin and all of that stuff. it's still very, very, the adoption rate is still very, very low. It's still not something that a lot of people know about. We definitely want Uhive. We want like your mum and my mum and everybody else's mum to know what crypto is through Uhive. It's a social network, and like I said at the beginning, it's a social network first. Social network, the growth, the sort of footprint that social networks have, we're talking minimum tens of millions, hundreds of millions. If you're talking Facebook, you're talking billions. Can you imagine when Uhive grows to that degree, where we have tens of millions, hundreds of millions of users who all own a digital wallet? They all own a crypto wallet. Very soon, users, as soon as they sign up, they're going to get some Uhive tokens in their wallets as soon as they sign up. They won't be able to sell those tokens, but they will be able to use them within the app. So there'll be a different type of utility token. There'll still be a Uhive token, but it won't be HVE2. But they will be able to just get a feel for it. They can buy awards. They can tip other users. So that's basically how we're basically going to sneak in through the back door. We're going to sneak crypto in through the back door, because that's the best way to do it. The best way to do it is for people to not even realize that they're using crypto. And then, I just got this. I got this award. This person sent me this award. How did they do that? Oh, they use Uhive tokens to buy that award and send it to me. Somebody sent me some tokens to my wallet. That's incredible. Where did this come from? What can I do with this token? And then the more we educate and the more users, sign up and start using Uhive, the more mainstream cryptocurrency is going to get. And Uhive actually has the potential to be the biggest crypto vehicle in the world. And that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming high. We are ambitious. And we believe in Uhive. We believe in the community that we already have and their ability to help us grow this platform. We want cryptocurrency to be, as common as MasterCard and PayPal and Visa in the very near future. It will be. That's the direction the world is going in. And what better way to do that than through a social media platform? And that's really what Uhive is all about. We're future-proofing social media, and we're pivoting with the new trends at the drop of a hat. That's another big advantage we have over bigger social networks. So again, I'm not sure about time, but if we can just briefly address this. A lot of individuals, they ask us, what makes you think you're going to be successful where Facebook couldn't be successful in terms of Libra? They announced Libra in summer of 2019. By the end of 2019, eBay, PayPal, Visa, MasterCard had left the project. And obviously they've been silent on Libra since summer of 2019. We're coming up to 2 years later. Well, that's pretty simple, really, is if you're as big as Facebook, it's going to be nigh on impossible for you to enter into the market with your own cryptocurrency. The regulations that they would be subjected to are unimaginable. Any platform that has 2.5 billion, 3 billion users, there's no government in the world, there's no financial institution in the world that are going to welcome a project like that with open arms when it comes to introducing a cryptocurrency. Whereas Uhive, we are growing from the ground up with crypto and with our community. And if you follow the crypto news, you'll see a lot of regulations, a lot of governments, a lot of central banks are now bowing to the pressure of crypto users when it comes to adopting cryptocurrency within the financial system, within the governmental system. So we are basically moving with that progression right now in real time. When there's a new legislation, when there's new regulation, we pivot. It's very easy for us to pivot and completely change something or tweak it so it fits within that new regulation or that new legislation. And basically, we're going to get to the point where we're going to be one of the biggest surprises to sort of a central banking system or a governmental system, in that we're going to be able to turn around and say, look, we have 10 million users. They've been using our cryptocurrency for the past 2-3 years. We need to start incorporating it into the mainstream financial systems. How can we do it? That's not intimidating. We are an entity that the banks and governments can certainly work with. Facebook is intimidating. It's also a bit nefarious in their censorship. The scandal that they had before the 2016 election. That's scary, and that scares people. That scares governments, that scares financial institutions. Uhive, not at all. So we're hoping as well, and we're planning to be very palatable for institutions and for governments. So we're an entity, we're a corporation that they can work with very easily to make crypto mainstream. And at the end of the day, our users are going to be our sort of our brand advocates. As cryptocurrency users are right now in the world, they're talking to governments, they're talking to banks, they're imploring them to start working with cryptocurrency, start adopting cryptocurrency, let us pay our utility bills with cryptocurrency, and the governments and the banks are listening. So that's what our community is going to do for us as well. They're going to be advocates. They're going to advocate for Uhive, for the Uhive token, for cryptocurrency in general. And we've seen that so far. Our community, our early adopters have been phenomenal, as I mentioned earlier on. We did a crowdfund recently on Seedrs, which is the UK's largest equity crowdfunding platform. And we raised $1.1 million from 612 investors, which is great because, again, it fits under our whole sort of approach to business. We're making users part of our business, not just our business model. And literally now we have 612 equity shareholders in Uhive. But one of the great things that we got out of that campaign, where there was a page within the Seedrs campaign, there was a tab where potential investors could ask questions about Uhive or the Uhive token or how the money was going to be spent. And 9 out of 10 times, we didn't even need to answer that because we had community members going onto the Seedrs platform and answering those questions for us, which was absolutely phenomenal. I loved that. That was brilliant. And that was a big part of why we did the crowdfund. We wanted to raise awareness. We wanted to onboard new users. We wanted to let our current user base advocate for us. And we wanted to bring on board shareholders that were also members of the Uhive community and that were also account holders on Uhive. And we achieved that. The money that we raised was just sort of the cherry on top. And that's been brilliant. And we're hoping that that's going to continue throughout the entire time for Uhive.
That's brilliant, Jay, and I really have to congratulate you there as well. I think the progression of Uhive is just a testament to a good product, and it's testament to the community who actually loves it. So
Absolutely.
Remember, for all of you tuning in today and watching us or listening to us from whichever channel you are going, the links are below. Uhive will be available on LATOKEN on the 23rd. Do join us. Let's get into the community. And with that, Jay, is there any last messages before we leave for today?
I think you sort of said it best on several occasions. Download the app. Start using the app. Start creating your spaces. Trade Uhive token if you want, if that's your thing. But most importantly, download the app, create a space, explore the content. We have a VR and spatial content exploration called the Oasis tab. Follow that space, pun intended. Keep looking at the Oasis, look at the growth, see how the content evolves over time, and just invest, not literally your money in Uhive, but invest your time in Uhive. Get your content on there, create a fan base, create a tribe, make friends, use the app. It's the only message that really I want to get across today. I mean, if trading is your thing, please, trade, enjoy trading and holding Uhive tokens and sort of see where that goes. But more importantly, just start using the app, download the app, explore the app, have a presence on Uhive. You absolutely won't regret it. The community that we have on Uhive, although it's a relatively large number, it still feels like a very close-knit community. There's a lot of users that know each other by name off the app. So in our Telegram group, we're chatting to one another. You see them commenting on our social media posts. It's just a brilliant platform. I mean, I know I'm biased, but that's generally the feedback that we get. Obviously, our rating in the App Store, in Google Play is like 4.5, 4.6. So I think that's a pretty good indicator of the response that we've had thus far by our users. So, as Terence said, download the app, start experiencing it. We're on iOS or Android, so just search for Uhive in the store. You'll find it immediately. Just enjoy. I want to see everybody on Uhive. We want to see the download numbers go through the roof after today. That would be the best thing that we could see.
Brilliant. I think we covered it all. Thank you, Jay. You heard it here, folks. Go experience Uhive. Come to LATOKEN on the 23rd and get involved. And with that, from Jay and myself here at LATOKEN, you guys have a good day.
Take care, everybody. Thank you, Terence.